So here we are at Salute 2025, back again. Now, of course, last year I said I was going to enter the painting competition and I was going to cosplay this year, and I've failed to do both of those things, but definitely next year I'm sure I'm going to do both those things. But either way, we're going to head inside now and see exactly what's going on at Salute 2025. So we got there nice and early, which meant there was a big line to get in, but there was a guy playing bagpipes to keep us motivated, and once we got to the front of the line, we got our goodie bag with brochure and lots of little miniatures and freebies in it, including the official Salute miniature for this year, which was this guy here. I'll be painting in the second half of the video. And then we got to looking at some of the demo games that were going on around the place. If you've not been to Salute before, basically there are these demo games set up all over the convention centre, put on by local wargaming clubs from all over the country, and they're like one-off big games or one-off weird games with specific rules made just for Salute, and often specifically made terrain as well. This is a huge D-Day landing game put on by All Hell Let Loose, which was just kind of epic to see in person. And you get some silly ones like this kind of Mario Kart inspired game where you're racing around picking up the bonuses and stuff. This is a cricket but with guns game, which was really funny to watch. But lots of them are just historical games with really cool terrain. So here you can see you've got like 20th century laying siege to Berlin at the end of the Second World War, and the terrain is just amazing. But as well as that, you've got retailers selling their miniatures and selling their products. So this is the Rocknauts, which was this kind of Rogue Trader era style miniatures, which were really cool, very colourful, but all kinds of stuff. So I also went to Gamers Grass, who sell lots of flock and they sell Gamers Grass, and they had a little demo where you could make your own base using their flock, and I was really impressed with it. Not sure what I'm going to do with the base, but I've still got it, and I really like it, so I might have to find a use for it somewhere. Of course, there's also big retailers there like Whaling Games selling loads of miniatures and selling loads of games, and lots of people just kind of showing off miniatures. Alchemist Models here had this really cool like epic scale but Warhammer Fantasy, which was really cool. Trident Future Works, who sell like cases for games, but they also bought this massive Imperator Titan, which was getting a lot of attention. That was really cool. There's also the painting competition, which I promised last year I would enter this year, but I completely ran out of time. I'm going to make a real effort to make sure I have something for next year to enter in the painting competition, because it would be fun just to enter a painting competition. I've never done that before. There's also Kit Bash Corner, which had loads of different hobbyists showing off their modelling styles and their kit bashes and their sculpts and stuff, which was really fun. And all in all, it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So on to the second half of the video, I'm going to have a go at painting the official Salute miniature. So there was some stuff in the magazine about how they made him, and also there was this regular painting guide here, and there was also a painting guide using speed paints. So that was really cool. And I just felt really motivated to do some painting when I got back from Salute, and I thought this was the perfect model to have a go at. This is Lieutenant Colonel James Macdonell, who is a real person from history. He fought at the Battle of Waterloo, where he was assigned with the defence of the farm at Hougoumont, and famously led the counter-charge to reclose the gates when the French managed to storm the farm. Wellington called him the bravest man in the British Army, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, I wanted to have a go at painting him. I've been feeling motivated to paint, having come back from Salute, and I've never painted a historical wargaming miniature before. I just paint a lot of Warhammer and occasionally some Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So I thought I'd have a go at painting some historical. This is a real person, and the uniform is based off real history. So I was using the painting guide, and I was also listening to a historical podcast while I was doing it to get me really in the mood for the history and the accuracy. And I was looking at some stuff online of the uniforms to really get myself inspired and make sure it was accurate as it could be. I'm actually really, really fascinated by that specific part of history, the Napoleonic Wars and that whole kind of era. And while I was painting this guy, I wondered to myself, how is it that I'm super into wargaming and tabletop gaming, and I'm also super into the Napoleonic Wars as an era of history, but I've never played a Napoleonic wargame, which is strange. So I've decided that that's something I want to have a go at this year. I spoke to some people at Salute who were doing demos, some kind of historical wargaming clubs, and I'm going to try and reach out to them again and see if I can have a go at a historical war game, because I've read about all these amazing battles from that era of history, and it would be really interesting to have a go at playing through them. I think it would be really enjoyable. So it got me thinking about some of my hobby goals for 2025. As you can see, I'm just kind of painting him in the standard Games Workshop, filling out the main colours as best I can. I realised that my brush, I've not painted in ages, and doing this I realised that my brush is knackered. You can see it sometimes in the video, you can see how split the tip is, which was very frustrating, but you're still able to get semi-decent results even with a knackered brush. It just reminded me that if I do want to do more painting this year, I am going to have to get a few new brushes, but that's okay. Maybe that's part of the reason I stopped in the first place, is I needed new brushes and I just wasn't feeling motivated because my brushes were all rubbish. Because this is a hand sculpted miniature, it's not the kind of crisp, neat kind of style that I've come to expect from Warhammer miniatures. It does have a charm to it, and I do like the old hand sculpted style, and it was fun to paint a metal miniature again, because I've not painted metal miniatures in ages, because Games Workshop basically don't sell anything in metal anymore. So it was a bit of a nostalgic paint as well, because it was reminding me about when I was younger and I was painting all these metal miniatures that were hand sculpted, the old Games Workshop miniatures. Things that would actually be very easy to sculpt if you were sculpting them digitally, like text, are actually pretty tricky, especially at that size, to sculpt by hand. So the base, I just painted a slightly different shade of grey to the trousers. I just put a bit of green in there so that it didn't look like it was made of trousers, and then painted the black rim around the edge, as I do with all miniatures. But the actual miniature itself was really good. I was really impressed with the detail of the buttons and the buckles and stuff on the actual miniature itself. I completely forgot to film what I think is usually the most satisfying bit of any kind of miniature paint, which is doing all the shading and like the ink washing, which is very annoying because it is very satisfying when it all goes on. So, but yeah, I shaded him with a few different of the Citadel shades just to get some of the details to pop out, and then went back in to highlight some of the areas that went too dark. So yeah, a very, very basic paint job here really. Just the standard, as if, you know, this is how you'd paint miniatures if you were painting a whole army. Even though I've only got one guy to do, I still didn't want to spend too long on him, because it was just to kind of to satiate my painting motivation that I felt when I got back, and also because I wanted to have a go at painting a historical figure. So I only spent a few hours on him, and I didn't want to get too bogged down. But I'm really happy with how he came out. I think he looked really good. You can see here I'm just trying to make the salute text pop out. In the end I just dry brushed it, which was the best way to make the text pop out. But even then, you know, the 52 kind of gets lost in the sculpt a bit, which is a shame. But I'm really proud of him, and I think he came out really well. Now he just sits on my desk in that heroic pose, reminding me about my hobby goals for this year and motivating me to try and get them done. So Salute was a big success. I hope you enjoyed the video, and stick around if you want to see more videos like this. We've got more convention videos coming up. We've got MCM next month, and also some cosplay videos like the cosplay I'm going to be doing for MCM hopefully, and also some more roleplay rations videos coming soon. So stick around for those, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon.